official town clock. Good evening, everyone, especially to the former chair. Welcome back to the environs anyway.
I'd rather be up there, right? I'll resign and then you can come. Sit down.
Well, I hope you're feeling well, Marion.
Thank you so much.
Everything went well for you, I hope.
Thank you, and that's everybody.
Well, I miss you too, so. I guess we go to a six-man board.
Okay, are there any additions?
Persons. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Persons.
Oh, I said board, I didn't go any further.
No, you said 6 men.
Oh, I did say six-man. Women.
Are there any additions or changes to the agenda that anyone wants to bring forward? In that case, we'll move to the next approval of minutes of June 17th, which I think have been distributed to all of you.
Make a motion to accept them.
I'll second it.
Discussion on the motion to accept the minutes of June 17th. Hearing no discussion, all in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I oppose.
Okay, thank you. Road business. Jay, you're it.
I've submitted the first bills for reimbursement for the Depot Road box culvert and the sand salt shed project. This is the first round of bills, so I don't know how long it's gonna take to get the reimbursements, but it's an interesting process, so we'll see how long. We continue to work on Sunset Lake. We're waiting for the hammer to be repaired to finish some ledge removal. I met with Mike Renault from Renault Brothers in reference to the very narrow modified box culvert in the middle of the hill on Sunset Lake. He quoted us $4,500 to do all the concrete work to fix the problem. We already have a permit from Scott Jensen with A&R for that work. So I wanted to see what the board's pleasure with. It's way less than I anticipated to fix it. And we put $15,000 in for extra Sunset Lake Road work this year. So we do have money to do it.
I make a motion that we have Renault's, and it, trying to think how I'm trying to say this. We haven't got to put everything out to bid over so much, but Renault's do that work. He gave a price. We're there. They're the ones basically that do that type of work. I make a motion just to hire Renault's to do it, and that's it, point blank.
I'll second it.
Do we have a quote on that? A written quote?
Yeah.
About 4,500?
Just
Or a
4,500.
verbal.
It was just a verbal quote.
So can we get a written one?
That's a three-sided box or something, wasn't it?
He's gonna pour the sides and
And
then
the top.
make a deck in the shop instead.
It's a very nasty place to work.
Yeah. Actually, I think you mentioned to Shelley when you came down that hill, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was up there. I ride the roads at night with my broomstick.
No, I thought that was a pretty reasonable price.
Considering how long we've talked about what the industry is.
Okay, we have a motion and a second before us on this matter. Is there further discussion?
Well, I just asked that it be a written quote that we get and not to exceed $4,500.
Okay, well, if you can get a written quote,
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
then we'll be in comfort land at this particular point. I think that the feeling of the board is we should go ahead. Now, the question is timing. How soon would you have to have a decision on it?
They wanted to get it scheduled as quick as possible because they have to pour the piece that's going on the top, and I think it has to cure for a while,
Okay.
so.
One way around or through this perhaps would be for the board to authorize me with Jay's recommendation to okay them to go ahead. If it comes in at the price that was quoted here verbally.
Yeah. I make a motion that you review it and authorize it if it is at $4,500.
Okay.
Not to exceed it.
All right, that would be an amendment to the motion, so let's treat it that way.
I second the amendment.
Thank you.
Because once you get that in there, you'll be able to shape that whole road up pretty good shape and doing a good job on all everything else going up there, so.
That's widening that, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
About 8 feet.
Oh, wow.
so that makes quite a difference down through there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to move us forward, right? If there's no further discussion on the amendment before us, all in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. I apologize for my voice, I don't know. There. And now we have the motion itself. Any further discussion on that motion as amended?
As amended, yeah.
Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Thank you. Back to you, Jay.
So we had one person out grading roads all last week, and the rest of us were on Sunset Lake. The speed survey counters spent a week in Williamsville. There's 3 of them. They're currently in South Newfane, and then they'll move to Brookside towards the after the holiday. They'll put them out there. And I've put the radar signs out in Williamsville and Brookside, kind of for the holiday spell, so that'll hopefully keep people slowed down a little bit. I just don't want them out where they're doing their speed survey to change that, so. And that's it.
Any questions?
Any information from that yet?
No, we'll get a report when they're all finished.
Yeah, and what about the speed signs themselves that you're using? Are you getting any
I
information on that?
haven't, I've just been putting them up and letting them slow people, and I haven't been doing the data off it, I haven't had time. But at some point we can look at that again. Theirs I think is gonna be more accurate, because it even types the vehicles that are going
Yeah.
across it, so.
Yeah.
Okay, anything further for the road commissioner's report?
I'm not sure where this comes in, but we were looking at having the roads cut back earlier than later.
These gonna start July 15th.
Okay.
Again, any questions, further comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion as amended, please say aye.
I,
Opposed? Anyone abstain? Thank you. Administrative assistance report.
Among the many phone calls, emails, and mail that I've attended to the past 2 weeks, I've also been able to spend 3 hours on Saturday washing the windows and the front of the building, saving the town just over $150. I would like to ask the board to consider allowing me to contact the high school in the spring to see if we can get a student needing to complete a community service project for graduation to help with the washing next year. Jay and the road crew hung the banners on the front of the building for me on Friday. I would like to thank them for doing that and saving me from the frightening task of climbing the ladder. I posted the warnings for the special meeting we had on the Wednesday the 26th. I am still working on the minutes, and we'll have those for posting for tomorrow. The budget was causing some concern, so I did some research on the budget process by reviewing some of the past town reports, minutes, and the budget meetings. I was able to squeeze in an online class with Nemrick, also preparing myself for the budget process. Melissa was able to explain some more of that process, and she's very knowledgeable and has offered to help me with when she has more free time. I've given you an updated contact sheet. You can see that it's more detailed than the previous one. It was done in alphabetical order and laminated for your benefit.
Thank you. I have a question about the high school and liability of the town to come and do work on the property. Is there insurance to
second
cover
that.
that? It might be something to look into just to make sure.
Okay.
What we might try to home in on is some program that they already have in place that would be a funnel that would, at the same time, provide some coverage for that kind of thing. There are some, I don't know of any that I would say
Right.
might be worth checking.
I think the state's got a bunch of programs on there, the community service guys. They gotta go out and serve a little time doing that.
Well,
I
yeah,
think they're
but
covered too, aren't they?
Yes.
It's probably just to check and see if our liability insurance would cover somebody else coming in to help out.
yeah, it's very, very important.
Okay,
Plus, I think I just want to make a note that we didn't approve to have Jay and the road crew hang the banners on the front of the building. It's done, but that was something that we approved that Lynetta could do herself, but after I left the meeting, I was concerned about the liability issue of, someone doing that type of work anyways, either cleaning it or whatever. I think as a town, we have to be considering having contracted services do some of this work and have the administrative assistant work on her tasks that she's needing to have done.
But what it looks like is that she spent her own time doing it, and she's already a town employee, so she was doing her own. Because that's what we had left at the last meeting, is that it was on her own time, it was fine.
Right, but then
But on paragraph 1, it was on a Saturday when she's not working
well,
anyway.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that
No, you're saying about the road crew.
the road
But
crew
I said usually the road crew
does
has helped
that.
for years and years to come over here if they needed any assistance, like the light bulbs or
We put the air
air conditioners in.
the
And,
flags on.
Carry the town reports to the post office.
I mean, there's a lot of things that they've helped out over the whole,
Okay.
on that side of it. So we just,
From my point of view, again, the road crew puts up the flags that we do have on the poles. They've done other things of that same nature for years and years. And it doesn't take away from the highway work. I don't have a big problem with
It didn't take us very long, so.
It looks nice.
that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think the flags are a nice touch too.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely.
I asked for them to be taken out of the boxes, put
Yeah,
up.
I think it looks good. Well, thank you then.
Okay, next item is scheduled members of the public leading off.
Do we have to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'm sorry.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Any abstaining? Thank you, and thank you. Missy,
Yes,
you're up.
I'm up. All right.
Scheduled member of the public.
So I've been doing some research on this historical grant that we got back in 2003. And it appears that the grant came in, or part of it did, and then Paula Sagerman was in charge of the grant. She got paid for just over $3,800 for the grant. But for some reason back then in the accounting, it got coded to miscellaneous bank charges, abatements, and some other odd thing. So the expenses didn't match up to the grant that came in. So I had the auditor look at it. It appears that this grant is done, null, void, it's closed out. So we just need to, with your approval, close it out, put the money into the general fund, and close the grant out.
What's the balance on it?
There really isn't a balance because the grant
Everything's been
came in
spent.
and everything's been spent but not coded properly.
Yeah, do you have to fix that or no? You just have to note it.
No, I talked to the auditor about it. He said just get you guys to approve it, just throw it into the general fund. There's like $200 that I can't come up with. That might be the interest that came through. That may or may not have been expensed out. At this point, I can't tell.
So my recommendation is that you make a note of what you've done and what the auditor has stated, and put that in that file for safekeeping.
He's gonna close it out next time he comes back.
Okay,
So he's gonna do it and be done with it. But
okay.
he needs, well, he's gonna help me do it, I should say.
Just needs our approval to
Yep.
go ahead and do that.
Yep.
So I make a motion to have the auditor close out that.
He's gonna guide me to close it. He
Okay.
can't like,
Treasurer.
Okay,
he
or the
can't
treasurer
officially do
to-
it.
Okay,
We just wanna make sure it's done right, so.
sure. So that the treasurer could close out that historical grant fund,
Yep.
I second it.
zero it out.
Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I'm wondering if the board would be comfortable with moving the wage increases for fiscal 2020 up to this point in the meeting so that Melissa can work with us on it and go home.
Sure. Make that
I'm fine
motion. You have to make a motion?
If you're more comfortable doing that.
Whatever's proper.
Okay, I don't think it's a,
Okay.
it would have been an amendment to the agenda and I missed it then, so.
Okay.
Okay, we think you all have a copy of black and red. It's always scary to see a fiscal document in black and red, trying to figure out which side you're in. Anyway, these are the numbers for wages and salaries for 2020. And have you anything you'd like to add to what's on the paper?
No.
No. Anything you think we ought to know that we probably don't?
The only reason I wanted to draw this up is because this is the way it's always kind of been done, just for documentation that even though this was like always approved at the budget meetings,
Yeah.
it's just kind of a signature thing that you guys already approved it, we can move it forward for the fiscal year. So when the auditors see it,
And we can
just a
have it.
documentation, what's that?
And we can reference to it too.
Right,
Yeah.
we did pull the minutes out, referencing a lot of the
Thank you.
already, approved budgets and wage increases and everything.
So this was part of the budget that we've approved already.
Last September,
Yeah.
October, yeah. And the town meeting already voted on it too, so it's all,
Just nothing to do about it.
yeah, there's nothing really to do, just to sign it at this point.
Okay,
Official business.
yes, I make a motion that we sign this
I second it.
and use it for a historical document for the board and for others in the town.
Any discussion on the motion we have before us? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you all. I think, seeing as how I don't remember any unscheduled members of the,
We do.
I thought you were just observers, not members of the public. I'm sorry,
I'm an unscheduled.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay. May I stand up? I just want to speak for a few minutes because I feel like, and I didn't just feel like it, but I have disappeared all of a sudden from select board. And it's been since May 6th that I handed in my resignation early that day. because I felt that there was something going on with me that I wouldn't be responsible at being at the select board that night. And by that evening, at midnight, I was at Dartmouth Hitchcock Hospital. I had surgery. I did not have a stroke. People have been concerned that I had a stroke. I had something called a subdural hematoma, which came out of the blue. It normally is something that one gets if you hit your head hard or you fall. I did not have that. So I don't know how this happened, but in English it basically means a bleed is occurring between the skull and the brain. So I was very fortunate. I had no pain. I just was a little off with myself. And I'm fine. I still have a little more recovery to do, but I'm fine. And so I kept thinking about coming back here, and emotionally it was hard for me to come back because I miss it very much here. And I would get emotional and say, oh, I'll go another time. But the first thing I'd like to do is to really thank the community and all the people who send their best wishes for me. And I always feel so lucky that I live in Newfane. You know, it's a wonderful town and people are great, and I just thank everybody. And then I also, before I get to select board, I just want to say that just being here these several years has been an amazing experience for me. Not just being on select board, but coming into this building and seeing how the town clerk is working and how the listers are working, and Melissa, and now we have a new administrative assistant. I worked very closely with Shannon for years, and now since Juanetta took over, you know, I spent a lot of time with her the last few months before I had to resign. And I find it to be an amazing place. And Jay and the road crew and the heads and the participants and members of the different committees we have here. And I often hear people say, you know, being on select board is a thankless job. I don't agree with that. People are very gracious and they're very appreciative of what we do here, and I hope that you understand that as well as I've become to experience. And I just want to say thank you to this board. Thank you for the real support you gave me during the time that I was away, and I still am away. But I love you all. I just love you. And for anybody who's not had the opportunity, and that's a lot of people, you can't imagine what it's like to come here week after week. And it's not always great, and we have our difficult moments, but these people volunteer their time year after year. I mean, look at Mike and Chris and Pete. Pete, every time I tell people now, well, they say, well, who's the new chairperson? And I say, well, you won't believe it, but Pete has come back. And I've never had the honor to work with you, but I have heard the most incredible things about you. By the way, particularly Gary Katz said, make sure to say hi to Pete. And Gary, by the way, the morning I was a little off, he was the one who helped me get to resign and was totally supportive to me. And thank you, Gary. But it's just, look at you. Year after year after year, they come back, they spend their time committed to this town. And I'm amazed by all of you guys, really. And then the new people come in, and I was very blessed to be here. Very blessed. I have a big void in my life right now because I used to come down here so often. Like, what am I going to do today? Oh my God. But that's all I want to say. Thank you. I love you. And I miss you terribly. And it's wonderful to be back here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Marion.
We'll leave the door unlatched.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime.
I've just come across a document relative to town road bridge standards. Is that something we should sign tonight?
Yes. If you look on the think it's the front page. Actually, is it, do you have the one that I sent up there or the,
I think so.
no, I think it's the one over here.
Oh, that one.
Yep.
Oh,
You just make sure you get the right one here. The yeses and nos that I put on there were what the state recommended doing this year. So I did whatever they recommended for which ones we adopted and which ones we don't.
Okay.
So it's for FEMA, so if we have a flood, we get the most amount of money. So,
It's really an eligibility
yep.
activity. Okay, so if we, which we will, sign this, do we need to sign this as well? It has a place for signature of all of the all of the select board dated July 1st.
oh yeah, I've seen that document.
Want to take a quick
Is that the one that's got all, I filled in all the blanks on one of them. Just make sure you got the right one. It's this one here. That's the
Yeah,
one you need to sign.
yeah.
That has everything filled in.
I was wondering whether we have to sign this too, because this got the,
Is that part of that?
Sullivan
one?
Powers and Company, is that part of our
Same.
correspondence?
No, Sullivan Powers is for the auditors.
Oh, okay.
okay, I guess this
Make
is
it
the
easier
same
for
one.
FEMA to understand this thing.
All right,
Template can remain in effect after that date. It says after that date, the January 23rd version.
okay, same, so we'll use this one that
Yeah, that's in.
Jay has prepared for us. I'd like to finish dealing with this now that I've brought it up. This is something that should be dealt with and sent off to the state of Vermont so that they have it for FEMA if and when and so forth. So if, I might have a motion on it, if anyone
Well,
has any
this one
questions.
here is just standards, which is that, and this one is the FEMA one.
Okay,
There's two separate ones.
okay,
One's just noting what the standards are
yeah,
for the gravel, paved roads, et cetera, ditching.
yep,
all
okay,
that
thank
kind of
you.
stuff. Yep. So I would make a motion that we accept the document for the town of Newfane to recognize what the standards are for the road construction standards and specifications for the roads and catch basin, stone dam specifications, etc.
Okay, there are two things I'd jump in on. One is that the wording should be adopt the standards.
Okay, adopted.
And
Yeah.
it's town road and bridge standards.
Yeah,
So
That's
that's
what
what,
it
that's what you
is.
said on your motion.
that's what I
right?
said,
Okay.
yes.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Further discussion? Any more enlightenment that could help
So that's the
be
one.
us along? If not, call the vote. All in favor of adopting the town road and bridge standards, please say aye.
Aye.
And I'll find the place where, anyone opposed? Any abstentions? There, page 2. Pass the other ones that way, so I'll pass this one this way.
Okay.
And we're supposed to sign this for the municipal checklist.
That was from last week. There was 2 places that needed to be signed. Melissa
Oh,
brought it
okay.
to my attention that it needed
Oh,
one
okay.
other signature.
Okay, sorry about that.
Good. Pass it down that way for the guys.
Yes.
Can I just go for a question?
Thanks, Jerry. Okay, the other unscheduled member of the public. Go.
Go.
You have something for us?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
Just wants to hang out with us tonight.
Oh, I thought I was supposed to hang out just in case you need anything of the other stuff, but I'll be happy to leave.
Yeah, we were, I think we got it done.
Oh, pay orders.
Pay
Oh.
orders.
Well, yeah, would you please stay for pay orders?
Okay,
Just,
I'd be happy to go if you really. Just kidding. You guys are giving me mixed signals here.
No, we want you to stay.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
okay.
Are we on?
while Melissa is here still, there's a document entitled Municipal Checklist for Internal Control, Part 1, Cash Controls, et cetera.
Yeah, you guys did that at the last select board meeting, but there was just one spot that there was a signature missing, so I sent it back.
Whose signature? His? Okay.
He just needs to sign in one more spot.
Do we know where? The last page or something?
I believe it was the last
Okay,
page.
yeah, I've got it.
Oh, okay.
All right, my apologies. Okay, Glebe lands. You've all seen this Technicolor presentation of the situation. And my understanding is that the town does not at this point have any. With that in mind, there is an out. And if the town votes to keep its interest in these lands, even though we don't have any, we would be covered for anything that we might have to do should something that I'm not aware of. I talked to Doris, and as far as I can tell, we're in good shape. So,
And you had noted that a lot of this land is under the old Fane Common, or?
pretty much so.
Yeah.
It's a,
So I would make a motion to maintain all of the town's interests in the Glebe lands, and then determine on a case-by-case basis moving forward as to how to deal with each one as they come up, if they come up with a question.
okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the motion relative to Glebe lands. The inventory and discussion could continue beyond the deadline if the town votes to keep its interest in these lands, and that's VLCT opinion. Any discussion?
I think we've all become more knowledgeable, sort of.
Glebe, glow, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. We need to do something with the state police tonight.
We did that last time.
This
That's from
is
last.
all done, isn't it?
That was
That's all
already
done.
done, yes.
I don't know how. Okay. I don't know of any need for an executive session at this time. If anyone else does, speak up or forever. We have a proposal from Sullivan and Powers for auditing. And I suspect, not remembering having seen a recent one, it's pretty much the same. Can anyone enlighten me and us on this?
Your email is pretty much the same year to year. It's been going down a little bit.
Okay.
It's just for the services, they haven't done it yet this
Right.
is for the audit for
Fiscal year 20. Well, no, it'd be
No.
for fiscal year 19, but they're
19.
doing it in
in
20.
20, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, anyone have any reason not, or to go ahead, on the other side, to go ahead
What's your
with
recommendation?
Sullivan and Powers?
I think they're great. I like them. Very helpful.
Are they local or?
No,
No.
not familiar.
Oh, okay. Okay. I make a motion that we accept the scope of
Scope of
services for Sullivan Powers and Company for the auditing for the financials for the town of Newfane.
I'll
For
second
the
it.
year ended June 30, 2019.
I will second.
Any discussion? If our treasurer is comfortable, we probably should be comfortable, so I'll call the question. All in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. We'll get the thing signed and back to them. Pay orders, unless there's anything else that anyone else to bring up before we get flopped up. Yes?
Can I say something? I omitted thanking Jan and M particularly for being here every single night that Select Board has been on. And they're like the postmen. They come no matter whether it's snow, sleet, rain. They've had to find housing at times when they couldn't get on their roads to go home at the end of the night. They stand here for hours. And I personally thank you so much for the work that you've done and that you helped me so much. You're very, very supportive to me. But I hope to goodness that VLCT and the videoing continues, that it's not knocked out of business, because I find you're doing invaluable service to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just make a remark on that? I think we had talked as the board to actually give money to the BCTV, I'm sorry.
I think that was in the fall or early winter of last year.
Yeah.
BCTV.
As part of because they're a
What did I say?
nonprofit.
Did I say?
Does anyone know what we gave?
BCTV. Did I say that?
No,
No.
I was confused with
Oh my goodness.
VLCT.
What did I say? VLCT? I'm so sorry. Well, I
No,
thank them too. I thank them too.
It was me.
They're semi-respectful.
BCTV. BCTV, I thank you so
One
much.
of us said it's in the appropriations and the part of the budget.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
but
I
that
do believe
we-
that was approved last fall or winter.
Because they had
Donation.
budgeting concerns because they were not given certain appropriations or something? Is that
I
what
did
it's
a
called?
presentation, I can't remember everything that was said, but
Is
there
the
was a
FCC
presentation.
Oh, FCC ruling was changed, yes, yeah. So you're, hopefully you can survive.
Well, thank you for coming tonight, Marion. I'm glad to see you doing good. And we
We love
appreciate
listening
you
to
for all your help on the board too.
Thank you, Mike.
And
Yes,
hope
thank
that
you.
someday you step back in with all of us.
Thank you. I love you. I love all of you.
They
Thank you.
gave us 3 lines, so use them a little.
Use them sparingly.
We'll turn the guys loose in the open
Highly
area.
recommend all of them.
You can sign next to mine on the second line. And then we'll leave the boys down at the bottom.
Okay,
Madam Chair.
anything else before we get to pay orders?
Excuse me.
Seems wrong.
All set?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.